So I guess we'll just get right into it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So Thomas, I want to get the last name right.
Sartor.
Sartor.
Yeah, I mean, you know, our family, half of us say Sartor, half of us say Sartor, half of us are in England. So, you know, I'm not really worried about it.
Okay, awesome. And graduate from CC, class of 2009.
Mm-hmm. 09?
The greatest class.
Some would say. Some would say.
Some would say.
I would say.
Sean would say. And I'll give him some credit.
He's the expert.
He's my favorite person.
Oh, that's fair.
I have to say that in my contract.
He can't say it back because he's married, dude.
Oh,
this is so embarrassing for you now.
Yes, I know. But it's all right. I mean, Lindsay's amazing, so that way.
We like Lindsay.
Yes.
I only see Facebook photos, but
yes,
very nice looking fam. That
for sure, and baby.
There must be better things to talk about.
Whole fam. I'm excited. I haven't seen you in like a decade, bro.
I know, man. It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
So Sean brings you to us to be episode 0. I'm gonna call it because it's not necessarily episode 1. It's pilot episode. So let's see how this goes.
We're just trying to get picked up by the networks. You know.
I think it's gonna go great, to be honest with you, because you got a really cool story.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I try my best.
Yeah. Let's start, I guess, from the beginning a little bit in terms of kind of background, family background, kind of growing up. How are you connected to CC even at all? How'd you, kind of start from the beginning a little bit?
Well, so when I was coming into CC, I didn't have a choice of where I was going to high school at. At the time, I honestly probably would have preferred to go to like the local public school where a lot of my friends were going. But it ended up, I came to CC and really enjoyed my time here. I think it was a great time. But the way I ended up here, well, Dad he's born in Detroit, but he grew up in the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. He went to a boarding school for delinquent Native American kids when he was growing up. And then my mom is from Marsh Lane in Bootle, Liverpool, England. Shout out to Liverpool Football Club, champions of England. And so mom ended up over here. She met Dad. Coming from England, she always went to Catholic schools. Her auntie is Mother Superior of her convent. So, it was really important to her that we had a Catholic education. I went to St. Pat's in Brighton before I went to CC, and then I went to Loyola for a while after here as well. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it,
Yeah, no, that's amazing. The only thing that I disagree with and everything was the Liverpool comment. It's a hard...
what are you disagreeing with? That we're champions of England?
Yeah, no, you guys, yeah. It's been tough being a Man United fan the past few years.
Bro, what year were you born?
1999.
Oh, that's tough.
So growing up...
That is tough.
Growing up, they were great.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, all that stuff was amazing. But then, seeing the downfall after...
You guys ruined my childhood, bro.
Yeah. So it's only fair. Now my adulthood is ruined from watching Man United, but...
Oh, it's a tough spot, honestly.
So, soccer fan?
Oh, huge, yeah.
Okay,
huge.
cool.
Yeah. We were actually just over in Europe not long ago. I had to speak in Rome, so we made like a trip out of it. And we went and saw Sporting Lisbon play, which was awesome. Really cool. It was actually Amarim's last match as their manager.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cool.
Before he came to Man United?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
amazing.
Exactly. Yeah, Gyökeres put 4 past the team that they were playing. I can't remember who it was, some other Portuguese team. And then not long after that, we flew out to Sevilla. I'm going to say Sevilla, not Seville. But yeah, we flew out to Sevilla and we went to a Real Betis match as well, which was cool. They got like a 93rd minute winner in the Conference League. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, we're big soccer guys. Yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah, that's how we grew up too. It was just completely revolved around soccer. I mean, there's really nothing else. I think Albania's made it to the Euros like twice now since I've been alive.
Yeah, it's always cool though.
So it's like we know we're never gonna win, but like scoring a goal, you just go crazy for one goal. So
it's hard when you're competing against the likes of like France and Germany and Portugal and Spain and
groups of death.
Yeah, I swear, dude.
For our little country, it's all right
it's
though.
Tough. It is tough.
So, Sean tells me a little bit about kind of your background and stuff. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I think we got to start from the Stanford Prison Experiment, which is kind of connected to you in an interesting way.
Absolutely.
So I did my research yesterday because I wanted to be informed, but I also had never heard of it until Sean mentioned it to me.
Okay.
What is the Stanford Prison Experiment exactly? And kind of... some background to how you're related or involved in it.
Yeah, totally. So the Stanford Prison Experiment, for anyone who may be watching or listening and sees that I'm definitely too young to have been there, it was an experiment that was done in the 70s in the basement of a building at Stanford University. And it essentially was to set up a mock prison to bring in some volunteers to play the roles of guards and of prisoners. Everybody was aware that it was a fake, that it was an experiment. It wasn't anything real. And it was to sort of judge and see sort of how like roles can impact the behavior on people and things like that. It was meant to last 2 weeks, and it was canceled after, I believe, 3 days because the abuse had gotten so out of control from the guards towards the prisoners. It was actually canceled thanks to Dr. Christina Maslach. Not a lot of people know that she played that role, but she's really cool and she's a friend of mine. And she does a lot of work on studying burnout. But she was the one who went to Dr. Phil Zimbardo, who ran the experiment, and told him like, hey, you need to cut this out because this is ridiculous. That experiment and the failure that it was really led to a lot of what we know about like ethics, what we think about ethics around experiments today. A lot of the things that happened in that experiment have been related back to sort of war prisons and things like that. Abu Ghraib was a big one that was talked about in Dr. Zimbardo's book, The Lucifer Effect. But yeah, so Dr. Zimbardo, he and we met at a conference in Flint, Michigan that I was helping put on called the Hero Roundtable. Basically, it's a TED-style conference where we bring in speakers from around the world as well as the local communities in which we host them to deliver 12-minute presentations on the theme of everyday heroism. So Dr. Zimbardo was there to give a keynote. He spoke for about an hour. I didn't know what Dr. Zimbardo looked like, and I'm really chatty, so I was just like kind of BSing with him. And then he went on stage and started speaking, and I was like, oh, I learned about that guy in my psych class, So that was sort of like a really surreal moment for me. But yeah, then he and I sort of became friends. Over the years, we'd see each other at different conferences that I was hosting around the world, and he'd recommend speakers, and he wrote about us in one of his books and things like that. And then I was brought onto a different nonprofit board called the Hero Construction Company that did research into heroic action and heroic behavior and built lesson plans and presentations to sort of teach people how to prepare themselves to be more likely to act if the need was there. And then he was running a nonprofit that he had founded, which was sort of the biggest in that field, called the Heroic Imagination Project. And so with the Heroic Imagination Project, they'd been doing a lot of work, blah, blah, blah. Around COVID, they sort of found themselves in a really tricky spot. So they reached out to me and my colleagues at the Hero Construction Company and asked us to take over the board of their nonprofit to sort of help guide them through that difficult time, which is where I became the vice president of the board. And now I'm the secretary of the board. So I kind of just befriended Dr. Zimbardo throughout the years. He saw that I was doing, work in that field and that I was doing a decent level of work in that field. And he trusted me and my colleagues to sort of help when the need was there. Now, Dr. Zimbardo passed away last October, and maybe November, last autumn he passed away. And we all knew when he approached us that, he was in his 80s. There wasn't a lot of time left if we were being realistic, and that he was worried about sort of his legacy. He got into studying heroism because he had studied the negative side of humanity for so long, and he didn't want that to be his only sort of legacy.
So you were studying heroism prior to ever meeting him. You were already kind of involved with this in a capacity?
Yeah, I was in a capacity. I met him right in the beginning. So the first event that I volunteered for was that event in Flint in 2014.
Oh, and that was right when you met him.
Exactly, yeah. And really all of the credit for that needs to go to an Australian friend of mine named Matt Langdon, who's currently the executive director of the Heroic Imagination Project. Matt is definitely top 2 in the world of experts for everyday heroism and things like that. And Matt, when he had his daughter Vienna, he sort of started looking for like examples of heroes and role models that she could look up to that weren't necessarily the ones presented to us in pop culture. So instead of maybe looking up to, an athlete or someone like that, like he was finding stories of ordinary people who had done something extraordinary to like help someone else or to solve an issue, and sort of started doing research that way. And then eventually he found that there were other people around the world kind of doing similar things, but they didn't know each other and they didn't know that anyone else was doing it. So the Hero Roundtable, the conference, initially started as an idea to bring all of those people into the same room. He reached out to me and just asked if I would volunteer, and I was like, sure. I'm always down to help a buddy or whatever. And I showed up, and yeah, it was really like a big sliding doors moment in my life, I would say. Like, it really completely changed everything. After that event, I messaged him and was like, I'd love to help with this in the future, thinking as just like a volunteer the way that I had. And then in the next 12 months, we ended up taking it international. We went from annual conferences in Michigan to conferences in London, in the Netherlands, in a town called Nijmegen, which is arguably the oldest town in the Netherlands. I'm on that side of the argument. And then we were doing them annually in Australia before COVID hit. We've done them in San Francisco, and we've been approached sort of all over the world. We're working with Uruguay right now to potentially do one next year, I believe. So it kind of all spiraled through that. I know I just went on for like ages, but it's kind of a long story, to tell you the truth.
No, it's okay. I think we have nothing but time. And now I'm interested. I've got a bunch of different kind of follow-up questions and thoughts from that too. So before your friend from Australia, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So before your friend from Australia, you don't know what heroism is. You don't have any idea about...
I probably have a similar idea to what your standard person would, right? And like when we're talking about the idea of everyday heroism, I'm not necessarily speaking about like an act that you do every day. I'm talking about like everyday people who act heroically, right? So in English, we tend to use hero quite flexibly, right? Like a hero can be the protagonist of a book or of a movie. Your hero can be a role model. Your hero can be somebody who wins like the sporting event, right? What we're looking at is really specifically a narrowed down definition that is somebody who acts to help someone else through risk, basically. That's like the simple way of saying it. So for us, risk is really the big element that separates heroism from altruism. A lot of times we'll have conversations with people who will say things like, hey, like smiling at someone when you walk down the road is heroic. And I'm like, well, no, it's really nice to do, and actually like doing those little nice things do prime you to act heroically if the situation arises.
But you've taken no risk.
Right, but there's no risk there, right?
Yeah.
So like to compare that to somebody who like pulled someone out of a burning vehicle, it's just not quite what we're looking at. Like we're looking more specifically at the element of risk involved. So when I first went there, all of the concepts and stories and ideas that I heard really resonated with me. Some of them were things that I had thought of just normally. But throughout the next 11 years of doing, interviews with people who have acted heroically, organizing conferences, delivering trainings, building curriculums, things like that, I've really had the chance to work with people who were just experts in the field, and I've been able to really learn a lot, which has been really cool.
Okay. So before you meet your friend, before you get connected with kind of the group of people in the nonprofit, what are you thinking about your life beforehand? What are you thinking like, okay, I just graduated college or something, presumably, and I'm going to go get a real job, or I'm going to go off and start a career, or I'm going to go off. And what are your thoughts kind of like before you meet what you're doing now? What did you think of kind of your life at the time?
I thought I was going to just own an asphalt business with my brother. Our family had an asphalt and concrete business for ages. Our dad had started it when he was 18, and we grew up working in it. We were running rollers and stuff when we were 5. Again, he was very old school and from a mining and farming community in the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, so he believed that kids should be working. So I had been mostly focused on that, and really just went to go and volunteer for my friend's event just to be helpful to my friend,
And then from that one event, it just completely, you're like, I'm going this way.
Yeah. It was a huge sliding doors moment, honestly. And like, it just really started opening up a lot of opportunities. The main reason that I wanted to help was because I felt that what my friend Matt was doing with the Hero Roundtable specifically was a good thing, At the end of the series Boy Meets World, for any of you who watched it, Mr. Feeney tells them to do good. And that's important. I think that we should be trying to do good. Everybody here is learning goodness, discipline, and knowledge, right? Like, we're supposed to take all of this stuff we learn and put it back into like our communities or like, you know, whatever it is that we're passionate about. Like, not everything is just about getting a nice little sales job and like buying a second house.
Oh, absolutely.
And, you know, I think with the background that we had and everything like that, it was sort of inevitable that if I found something that I was passionate about like this, that I was going to end up, you know, trying to help grow it or whatever, because I think there is a good impact from it. And really, after about 1.5 years of us working on it, we started getting emails and things like that from people who had attended our conferences and later stopped at a car accident and performed CPR and told us that the reason they stopped was because they learned about the bystander effect at the Hero Roundtable or whatever it may be. And we were getting those emails from, you know, Australia, from America, a gal from down by Ann Arbor, which is really cool. And that really, you know, when you're working on sort of like a nonprofit, and actually I had this conversation with Nick Kristock one time, who I graduated with Sean. But when you're working on a nonprofit like that, you're putting a lot of time and effort and energy into it, and you're not necessarily getting like a huge financial reward or something like that, right? So it's really easy to sort of find yourself in those moments where you're thinking like, why am I doing this? Yeah, like I could just be focusing on my stuff, blah, blah, blah. But getting those... or
does it matter or anything like that? Yeah, you get the
right, am I making a difference at all?
The negative self-talk.
Yeah, we all do it, you know? And and so getting those emails was a really big boost in the beginning. Like, wow, actually, you know, people are alive because of this, which was really cool. And then I kept getting really amazing opportunities to meet people who were doing such impressive things, and some really awesome opportunities personally as well. Like when I was 24, I got invited to speak at the House of Lords in Parliament, which is wild, with my mom being from England. So that was actually kind of a funny day where I like knocked on my uncle and auntie's door in Liverpool and was like, hey, can I crash here? And they were like, yeah, what are you doing in England? And I was like, I'm here to speak at the House of Lords. And they thought I was joking. I didn't even know they thought I was joking until we were just in Liverpool in December. And I said to my cousin kind of offhand, like, oh, you remember when I came here to speak at the House of Lords? And he was like, did you speak at the House of Lords? And I was like, yeah, I told you when I came here. They just thought I was messing, but it was like a really wild sort of opportunity. So, you know, it's multifaceted. Like, it's a good thing. I get a lot of really interesting connections through it and networking, and I get to meet a lot of people that I learn from. And then I get some really interesting opportunities myself. But yeah, it has been a huge sliding doors moment, really.
And at the end of the day, the mission is just to promote acts of heroism through everyday people, basically.
Pretty
much.
That
the overall kind of message?
Have, like, our board of directors is quite diverse, and we've got people from all over the world. So we have some folks that are really focused on like research. They write a lot of papers. They interview a lot of people who have acted heroically. One of my favorite ones actually was, do you remember a few years ago, there was an attempted terrorist attack on a train from Amsterdam to Paris. And there was a few off-duty American military fellows on board who put an end to it. So one of them, he wasn't military, but he was friends with them, Anthony Sadler. He spoke at our event in San Francisco, and he was so fun to talk to. He's our age. He's like a 1990, 1991 baby, maybe 92. And it was really weird because at the time I was like mid-20s, and I was sitting there like, man, I've known who you were for like 5 years because you like stopped a terrorist attack. I just realized you're my age, you know? But we asked him at one point, because we've learned through our research that people who as kids or even throughout their lives when they're reading or they're watching movies or series or whatever, people who have the habit of putting themselves in the main character's shoes, like actively doing that, and sort of relating to those characters are more likely to be able to step forward when the time comes, because they've had a lot of moments of thinking to myself, what would I do if I were in this situation?
Yeah, right? You need to visualize it before you can do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. We call it the heroic imagination. That's why it's called the Heroic Imagination Project. And so we asked him, Anthony Sadler, like, did you have any TV show characters that you really related to, that you sort of felt yourself in? And he said, Billy, the blue Power Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Shout out to all of my early 90s babies. And I love that so much. At the end of it, we asked him, like, when you stopped that, did you feel like the blue Power Ranger? And he was like, yeah, I totally did. No one's ever asked me that. I totally felt like the blue Power Ranger. So we have some people who do that. I'm working on getting my first paper published with my colleague, Dr. Ari Cohen, who is a professor at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Later this year, I'll be presenting in September at that uni a paper that's about the difference between freedom fighters and terrorists through the lens of heroism. So that's some of the things we do. We also have a curriculum committee that builds curriculum that has been used all over the world. So we used to have a wonderful young woman on our board named Zoe Hummel. I couldn't say enough good things about her. She's so bright. I think she's maybe about 23, 24 right now. And she, while she was in high school, built a club in a box based off of our curriculum. So it's a club that high schools around the world have adopted and built clubs around using our materials. And it sort of just is a self-led program that kind of walks them through like the basic ideas of everyday heroism, right? So that started out in Colorado, and I think we're in every inhabited continent with that one now. And then I helped translate that into French for a rural Senegalese school district in the Casamance area of Senegal, which was really interesting because it wasn't just translating it, it was also shifting our examples, right? Because to students that live in rural Senegal, Harry Potter isn't necessarily an accessible...
Gonna strike the same way.
Exactly, yeah. So I had to have all these meetings with like teachers and community leaders and like learn like Senegalese stories that I could then go and read and like use as examples in place
use those as acts, as play,
which was really interesting. And then, we sort of have like our presenters as well. So we have like people who will go around, this is mostly what I do, and we'll organize events, conferences, summits, and then we'll deliver trainings and presentations. So last year I had to go to Paris to run my global summit, our global summit, where the leaders of other nonprofits in Europe that do similar work all came to present their work to us and each other. And then afterwards, I had to deliver a training to an Italian psychologist and two Brazilian psychology professors from Sao Paulo who flew to Paris just to get that training, which was really wild, honestly. But it was great. And then later in the year, I had to go and speak to CPEACE, which is a kind of a mouthful when translated, but it's the Italian Society for the Strategic Implementation of Psychotherapy, which is really cool. We like befriended the president of that organization a few years ago when I was speaking at the University of Salerno. She's so smart. Her name's Giovanna, and she's really, really smart. But yeah, so it's kind of like a big range of things. Like the idea is to better understand what it is that prevents us from acting heroically, what it is that can allow us to break through those barriers, and then we build sort of presentations and trainings off of like those things. And then we also use the hero's journey as a tool. We normally start out our trainings with the hero's journey because it's a great tool, not just for like, writers and filmmakers and literary people, but like it's a tool that we can use in our own lives, like through the different stages of kind of development that we're going through. So pretty much, I think I answered your question. I don't know. I'm verbose, dude.
You're good. I like the part when you touched upon, the people that think about doing acts of heroism are probably more likely to do it. So I always think about that, like, when obviously I'm a coach here, and I think about, all right, you got a bunch of kids that you're responsible for. If something goes wrong,
what do you do?
What am I doing? So I'm always constantly like almost ruminating about that. Like,
right.
All right, if someone collapses right now,
what do I do?
What do I do? If someone walks in with something,
right? Exactly.
Kind of what do I do? Right. So I mean, that makes total sense to me. And I remember, obviously, I was not into psychology or anything, but I remember taking a few psych classes in college, and I remember talking about the bystander effect. Yeah. Just like, someone's going to do something eventually. So that's kind of you guys' basically. Your whole gist is basically going around and inspiring everyday people that you don't have to be
right. You don't have to be a superhero to make a difference, right? And like, and not only that, but we spend a lot of time talking about like sort of preconceived notions that people have of heroes, right? Like a lot of times when we call someone a hero, it feels like we're putting them on a pedestal, right? And when you like putting people on a pedestal is a dangerous game. Actually, in Germany, we found that they really shy away from the word hero because they're nervous about putting people on pedestals. So we use Zivilcourage as the words there, civil courage, when we're working in Germany. But so I think, one of the important things to remember is like, heroes are human, right? Like we're not Superman. We're not like Scott Summers. That's a bad example.
It doesn't mean you're perfect.
Yeah, because Cyclops is very much not a perfect character, but this is not an X-Men podcast. This is a Catholic Central podcast. But anyways, you can't be Superman, right? Like we're all just people, right? So like we're gonna be fallible. We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna act like jerks at times. Somebody can, in theory, rob a bank and the next day push a kid out from in front of a moving car. Like it, you know what I mean? Like they're not mutually exclusive. So a lot of what we talk about too is like, look, just because someone's acted heroically, like that heroic action is in the moment. It's not for the rest of their lives,
good people can do bad things. Bad people can
do good things. Exactly. Right. It's the gray that is in all of us. But you said something that I kind of lost my train of thought I was going to touch on. But yeah, we say a lot too, like risk is a huge element of this. We've actually got a paper that 2 of my colleagues wrote about the ethics of teaching heroism to children because of the levels of risk, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're asking someone to potentially sacrifice
some
sort of risk to themselves.
And of course, is there a fire alarm? Oh my God, risk. There's risk right now.
Are these were supposed to be yesterday.
This is terrible. You guys got a plane, but you can't do your timing right?
It's just a test.
Okay.
No risk.
So
it's just altruism.
So this is zero risk. Thank God there's not one in this room.
Could you imagine?
Because
we're putting you to the test right now, Thomas.
I just run.
What are you gonna do?
Right, he sucks.
There's a fire in the Ox gym. Are you going?
Maybe. I don't know.
It's a little too far.
How good's your system? Bro, I'd get lost in this school nowadays, to tell you the truth. It's so much bigger than it used to be.
It's the same school.
Well, part of it.
Besides the annex.
You go stand in my parking lot and tell me it's the same.
my
parking spot, yeah, and tell me it's the same school, bro.
I guess while we're on it, what did you think about? You took a tour before you came on the podcast.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, honestly. It really is. But when we pulled in, both of us, like, jaws dropped.
You've never been back here?
I've been back, but not in 3 or 4 years, 5 years maybe.
Definitely not since that's been...
No, not at all. I've seen photos, but when you guys announced all of that, I was living in Australia. So I just saw it from afar and was like, wow, that seems cool. And then we pulled in and I was like, whoa.
What is going on here?
Where's my parking spot? Honestly, Mr. Baker, if you're listening to this, that was me who parked in your parking spot all those times in 2009, bro. True, that's a true story. He came and found me in homeroom every day. And then every day I'd go and park in a spot again because he kept coming and finding me.
Believe it or not, he's a huge car guy.
Well, he should have appreciated my bumperless truck. Also, up the Reds. I know he's a Liverpool fan.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. I never had him.
He used to have, neither did I.
I would not have known that.
Yeah, I didn't have him either. I just knew there was a This Is Anfield sign in his classroom.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I would have talked to him about it, but he was always mad at me for parking in a spot.
You guys have a good slogan, at least. Never walk alone.
It is good, yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
We're so solidarity, dude.
But it's also like terrible tragedy.
Yeah, that is true. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. We stole it from Carousel, the musical, and nobody knows that.
That I did not know.
It's a great musical. You should check it out. I've never seen it.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either. But I like the song, You'll Never Walk Alone.
Yeah. I haven't seen a lot of good movies, unfortunately, actually.
Have you seen Hamilton?
Sean can attest to this. I'm really bad. We shouldn't talk about movies.
I only said that because one of our buddies the other day asked us if we had seen Hamilton, and we were like, yeah, it's been out for 10 years, buddy.
Yeah.
Don't expect to have any meaningful conversation with Steven about movies. He'll be like,
I've been having a meaningful conversation with him.
It's just a test.
The risk is back.
It would be so funny if there was one right above my head.
The
just
fire? The thing?
Oh, the fire.
I was like, man, maybe not the fire, bro.
We'll skip on the fire. We've had enough going on at the school the past few weeks.
That's so true.
A lot of moving parts over summer.
Should I wait until like the lights stop flashing before I continue my thought? I remembered what I was saying.
I don't know. How bad does it look on the screen?
It's fine. You can't even hear it in the mics.
Oh, very cool.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Unless you're holding it like this.
You're right.
It does not pick it up.
These
weird. Are unbelievable.
Yeah, that's super weird. I might steal one of these. Nah, I'd probably wait until you guys get a stand. then I'll take it.
I know they're kind of heavy, aren't they?
They are a little bit heavy.
They're like legitimately a little bit
I work
heavy.
out a lot, so it's not really that.
I keep switching from
never
right to
work out.
left.
I'm a lefty, bro.
You've been
Check it out.
stoic though. You haven't
I
like,
used to, Mr. Maddich, who we were telling you about earlier, he used to take 10 points off of every single one of my tests for being left-handed.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a
We-
lefty?
Yeah, because we were possessed by the
Yep,
devil.
we were possessed by the devil,
Oh.
so we got 10 points off.
He taught church history, and that's something that in the church's history they
Yeah.
yeah.
We were living it, dude.
My dad used to get hit with the ruler.
Ooh, I had a
On the
coworker
hand.
that used
Yeah.
to. Yeah, I'm all scarred up.
That's messed up, dude.
All scarred up.
I'm
from that
right-handed,
Catholic
so I would have
function.
never known.
They never
I'm-
hit me for being lefty here. They never did that. Dude, but yeah, so yeah, he did. That's true. He would take 10 points off of our tests, but it was impossible to get below 120% in that class because after you did the test, you could flip it over and anything that you remembered that wasn't covered on the test, you could write it on the back and he'd give you extra points for each one. So I'd get -10, but then I'd get +30 because I would take my tests on the back of my notes.
Yeah,
and then that would be my extra.
there was a few teachers that was like the grading system is not like college where they'll tell you like,
Yeah.
hey, if you do this, you'll get this. So it's
Right.
kind of like
Yeah, Mr. Maddich was cool though, man. He was a great dude, honestly. He was really cool. But back to risk.
yes,
So, like one of the things, like we're encouraging the understanding of heroic action. We're encouraging that people learn what it is that stops them from acting and what it is that will make them more likely to act. But we very often also tell the people that we're speaking to or that are going through our courses or whatever that we're hoping that it never comes to that.
for sure.
We don't want them to aim to try and find, right? Like that's not how this works. We don't want them to put themselves in danger for no reason.
Yeah, don't become a vigilante and start looking
Right.
for it.
Well, and because once you become a vigilante, like you like at that point, you're kind of just like acting through the lens in which you see things. It's not in the moment, right? It's something that you're seeking out. Like heroism is in the moment. Heroic behavior is in the moment. So when the need for heroic action arises, when the need for help arises, like that moment is what unveils the sort of dormant heroes, if you will, right? Like the people who are heroes in waiting, the people who are ready to act, who may have the skills or the knowledge and may be comfortable in that particular situation, who haven't had the opportunity to act before. If we call them heroes in waiting, then when the moment arises, that's when the heroes in waiting sort of activate, right? Like when you're talking about vigilantism, which is funny because I just was reading a paper about this, but when you're talking about vigilantism, it's like a completely different thing because these are people that are going out trying to find problems, and those problems are through the lens in which they're perceived by the vigilante, right? So like if somebody goes out and they're a vigilante and they think that jaywalking is like a serious crime and they need to go and like deal with this, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like what is
Yes.
even happening at this point? If they see somebody walking through their neighborhood that they think doesn't belong there, and instead of just thinking, oh, well, this is probably just someone on a walk or like maybe they're visiting someone or whatever, they go out and like shoot that person. That's not heroism,
Yeah,
right?
It's from their lens.
Right. It's
not
just
from-
looking at it through their lens, and their lens can be very flawed. Like if somebody's drowning and you jump in and save them in that moment, it's sort of like a different situation, you know?
But this brings up kind of a harder topic of then, obviously there's laws and whatnot, but what is right, what is good from evil? Because from a lot of different people, it
right.
could, you could say, oh, just because it's a law doesn't mean it's right.
Right. Which I think is super fair. I think historically there's loads of examples of that, And I think that falls in exactly like you said, like that falls into this conversation as well, because like if somebody is going out and they think they're doing the right thing, but they're enforcing a law that they don't really have any authority to enforce, or maybe that law isn't necessarily ethically correct.
Yeah.
Like it's a very gray area,
Or you could perform an act of heroism and then have you could do a good thing and have a negative outcome or negative consequence of it,
Totally.
right? You could save someone who maybe didn't want to be saved, or on the wrong side of it, turns out a certain way because, oh, well, now I've got a lower quality of life because you saved my life.
Yeah. And there's risks. There's risks involved. And going back to talking about kids in terms of risk and things like that, like, when we think of risk, it's really easy for us to think of our roles, our sort of day-to-day life, like what those risks might look like. Like for you, you've got a lot of kids that you're responsible for. And there are certain things that I'm sure go through your mind. What would happen if this happened? Because
every single day.
Mhm.
Every single day.
And for us, that's the type of risk we might be thinking about. We might be thinking of mortality. We might be thinking of loss of limb, being injured in a different way, things like that. With kids, when we're talking about risk and heroism, I don't necessarily go down that path, to tell you the truth. A lot of times, like what I'm trying to do if I'm speaking to younger kids is maybe talk more about like social risk, something like that. So if you're talking to a group of kids who are in 4th grade and the school's had a problem with bullying, well, there is a risk to stepping up to a bully, whether that is physical, which, you know, hopefully it wouldn't be, but it also could be a social one. Is the bully one of the popular kids? You know what I mean? That tends to be how we've seen that it works, you know? It tends to be that the most popular kids are not bullies, and then the one just below that level tend to be kind of mean, you know?
Yeah.
And so you're taking a societal risk. You're taking, like, on the pecking order, on the totem pole or whatever you want to call it, of the hierarchy of student body, like those bullies might be higher up that pecking order than you are.
Will I be outcast because I chose to do something?
Right.
Because I chose to step up and say something.
And it's one of those where, like, you ask any kid who's witnessed bullying and they'll know what the right and wrong thing is.
Oh, yeah.
But there is a level of societal risk there, right? Like there very much is.
It eats you up inside when you see someone getting bullied. And
It's tough.
You have to make a decision.
It's tough. And
Do
sometimes,
I say something or do I not?
right. And sometimes it's tricky too, because it might be people you don't know, and maybe they're just friends razzing each other.
Yes.
You know? So there's like gray areas in that too. But when you like,
Or it's even harder when it's someone you do know.
Yeah.
And you're a friend with them.
yeah, and you have to call them out on being
Yes.
like a knob. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so
you're
annoying.
like, I can't believe you do it. Like, don't
right.
do that. It's
Bro,
not
you're
cool.
better than this. Yeah, clean it up. Yeah, that's tough.
Isn't that's funny
tough.
shit? It's better than this. One of our teachers, Nick George, theology teacher, I've heard him use that exact phrase so many times. He's
Wait.
like, you're better than this.
Yeah, no,
Like,
but seriously, you know what I mean? Like it is one of those, you know? And yeah, I risk is an interesting sort of element of all of it. That's really the part, like, between our nonprofit and different groups that study heroism, like, we're really focused on the risk element of it. A really good example of the student body and bullying, I believe his name is Travis Price. He's a Canadian fella. He and his buddy went really viral around the time we were in high school, because at their school, they had like a new transfer student, maybe a new freshman, and he came to school on the first day wearing a pink shirt. And this was like the 2000s.
You don't
So
wear a pink
obviously,
shirt.
yeah, obviously, you know, he was getting bullied like crazy for that, to the point where like they were threatening him like very severely.
Yeah.
And he went home and was like, I don't know if I want to go back to that school, blah, blah, blah. And Travis and if I've got his name right, I'm sure it's Travis Price. Travis and his buddy sent out a big Facebook message to like everybody in their class. I think they might have made an event on Facebook. And the thing was, they were all going to wear pink shirts the next day, right? So they didn't know if it was just going to be the two of them, if there was going to be a bunch more people that show up, whatever, they didn't know. So they went and bought like a bunch of pink tank tops, and they were ready to hand them out and stuff. And the next day, almost everyone at the school was wearing a pink shirt, because everybody was aware of the situation that happened. And they all wanted to say, even if our school isn't going to do anything about this, like we as the body are going to, right? And Pink Shirt Day actually took off and became a global anti-bullying phenomenon. I'm not a huge fan of anti-bullying programs, so I don't know if that's the words that I should use, because it's not specifically that. But yeah, it was sort of like a stand against bullying, if you will.
Yeah.
And like a pro-acceptance type of student body thing. And yeah, it was happening in Japan, it was happening in America, it was happening in Europe, it was happening everywhere. And it's just a really good example, you know, like sometimes the risk that you take isn't necessarily a physical conflict, you know. Sometimes the risk you take is a social one. Like if they were the only two wearing pink shirts that day, they may have looked like idiots, you know. They may have gotten bullied themselves. They may have found themselves in the same situation as the student from the day before. But they took that risk, and in taking that risk, they found solidarity amongst their peers, which I think is a really important lesson.
That the bullying topic is interesting, because there's almost a fine line of, right, anyone has the capacity to be a bully. And in a certain way, I like, now that I'm older, grown now, I kind of look back at my bullies and I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like there's a little bit of that where I'm like, yeah, maybe in the moment, like you kind of made my life, you kind of like made my life suck a little bit more.
Right.
But like, I definitely got like a tougher skin from it.
Yeah, and
to, like,
for sure.
to deal with it.
And obviously, you know, there's so many different levels of bullying, right? Like there are a lot of people where like that wouldn't be the case, you know, and I'm sure there's a lot of people where there are
levels to it,
you
where
know?
you go from someone that's just picking on you to like,
right.
okay,
like
this person's actually like criminal at this point.
And this happens to me sometimes because I'll like pick on people, but only in ways that I'm assuming they know I'm joking. And then every once in a while I'll say something and someone like is like, oh, and I'm like, oh no, wait, oh, shoot. I swear to God, I'm just joking.
Completely a joke.
I would have never said that if I would have known it was going to hurt your feelings. Yeah. But yeah, so, you know, it's one of those, like we get approached by a lot of schools that have issues with bullying, and we try to go into it as, instead of like an anti-bullying program, we go into it as like a pro-heroism program. We found that like being for something works a lot better than being against something. And it's definitely been really interesting. It's mostly just about like trying to help out with culture and stuff like that. But that's like one of the ways that we'll go in and speak to schools. Like we also go in and speak to schools. We'll give, you know, hour-long presentations, day-long presentations, spend a day in a school with classes, siphoning in and out. And just explain, you know, hero's journey is a really good one because like say you're freshmen here, like they're right now starting their hero's journey that is high school, where they've gotten their call to adventure by being accepted into Catholic Central High School, and they have to cross the threshold and walk right by the crest, you know, and they'll meet like their allies and they'll have their challenges and they'll overcome those challenges. And at the end of CC, they'll be a new person and they'll be able to like impart that wisdom onto the years below. So it's always fun to do hero's journey stuff. And then, yeah, after that, we'll normally do, this is what prevents us from acting. And then this is how you can.
Yeah. Okay. So what are some of the biggest preventions that you
there's so much
that people will say, oh, that's why I didn't do it, you know?
Yeah. So obviously we talk a lot about the bystander effect, and that's something that's like really trendy right now because there's so many, you know, bystander action programs and upstander and all of that stuff. And so, you know, the bystander effect says that the more people present when help is needed, the less likely someone is to act.
Because someone else is going to do it, right?
Well, and surely someone else is more prepared, right? Like if I saw someone drowning, I'm nervous to help because I'm not a lifeguard, you know? I can Google it, but
maybe there's a lifeguard here.
Yeah, maybe someone here has some lifeguard experience, you know? A lot of it is just like the way that we've sort of evolved as like a community over years too, right? Like back in the day when we were, you know, like not civilized yet, it was safer to be in the group. It was less safe to like stand out, you know, to be apart from it. Things like that. There's really so many different things that can help us, like, well, prevent us and then also help us. There's actually a really interesting study that was done. Oh man, I want to say it was at Oxford, but I think I'm wrong. I know that the professor who did it is now in the northwest of England. But anyways, what they did was he brought in a bunch of volunteers, self-identified Manchester United fans. Yep. And he, the worst. And he,
that's amazing.
And he did sort of 2 days of this experiment. The first one was they all came in and they were meant to write down why it is that they love Manchester United Football Club, right? They went in, wrote down their little essay, boom, boom, boom. And he went, okay, the next part of today is on the other side of campus. I need you to walk to this other building. So then they'd all start walking to this other building, and planted along the way were people that needed help, right? So it was 3 different types of people. One was wearing a Manchester United shirt, one was wearing a Liverpool shirt, and one was wearing just a blank shirt, nothing to do with footy. And the Manchester United supporters, after having written about why they love Manchester United so much, almost universally helped the Manchester United supporter. They then helped the blank shirt guy the most, and barely any of them helped the Liverpool, right?
Oh, man.
So then a while later, new group of test subjects, we're going to run the same thing back. But this time, instead of talking about why you love Manchester United, we want you to write down why you love football, why you love soccer, right? So they run it again, go back to that other building. And this time, the Manchester United supporter and the Liverpool supporter were almost helped equally, right? And the reason for that is because in the first part of the experiment, all of those people were primed to think of themselves as Manchester United supporters.
Yes, yep.
First and foremost, right? So when they walked past the United supporter who needed help, well, that's one of us. So I have to help him. And then when they walked past the Liverpool supporter, they went, well, that's one of them. I'm not helping him. But when they were primed to write about why it is that they love football, why it is that they love soccer.
But when it's both football, they're both football clubs.
They were primed to see themselves as football supporters. And so when they walked past both the United and the Liverpool supporter, they thought, this is another football supporter. I need to help them. Right?
Yes.
And so it's things like that, like a big part. We talk a lot about working on expanding empathy because empathy is such a key part of this. Like you will not help other people if you do not have empathy. And so like in that moment, like you can see the expansion of the we, right? So like we talk a lot about expanding our we as well. Like the bigger you can make your we, like who it is that belongs in your we, when you say we, the more likely you are to help people. So like for me, it's really easy, right? Like I can say I'm a graduate of Catholic Central. If I see somebody and they've got a flat tire on the side of the road and they've got a CC sticker, I'm pulling over.
Yeah.
I'm going to,
right.
You know? If I see somebody wearing a Liverpool shirt and they need a hand, I'm gonna help. That's where my mom's from. I'm gonna help them.
Yeah.
You know? If I overhear somebody speaking French, I'm gonna be more likely to help them. Like I'm a French speaker. I've lived there. So same with Australia. So like all of these groups that it's really easy to go, I'm a Michigander, you know, I'm from Catholic Central.
Yeah.
I'm a Liverpool supporter. I'm this. I'm
I'm American.
Right,
Yeah.
right. All of these
Yeah.
things. All of these things. It's really easy to just keep, well, let's take a step back, right? Like you're Albanian, I'm English.
Yeah.
Matt, we're both European.
But what are we actually?
Yeah, you know, we're people. At the end of the day, it always comes back down to us being people.
Yeah.
And that's such an important thing. And it's so easy, especially in such a divided world too. Like there's so many people that just want to be on one team or the other all the time. And at the end of the day, we're folks. We're all just folks. We're all just people. Sometimes we're going to need some help and sometimes we're not. If you see somebody that needs some help, I hope that you're in a situation where you can help them.
Yeah. And the boxes are weird too. If, you know, having to choose, I want to be in box 1 or box 2. Because it's
nuts,
like, nobody really fits into any of the self-described boxes.
For real, dude. Well, and it's one of those too, like, you know, you've graduated from Catholic Central, you meet people afterwards and they hear that you went to Catholic Central and they just immediately, there's a category that they put you in.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
We went here, we know how different so many folks are here. You know, there's loads of different types of people here.
And I came from public school before, so I had even a bigger understanding of, okay, it's really different than what I thought.
Totally. And like, you know, a lot of people think you're better than everyone because you went to a private school or whatever, but it's like, no, like I don't. Maybe there is someone who does. I don't know. But
there might be people.
I don't. But it's, you know, it's all about taking those steps back, you know. CC and Novi, rivalry there. Why? We're in the same place.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It is why, but like, who cares? You know?
But it is kind of one of those things, like you said, about, you know, you got Manchester United, Liverpool, but at the end of the day, the category is football. It's kind of like, that's probably why the rivalries exist a little bit too.
Oh, and not just, exactly. And not just for that one thing. I mean, they're both in the Northwest. They're 30 miles away. They both have histories of music and of fashion. They're both
too much in common.
Working class cities. We're cousins.
Yeah.
We're first cousins.
Yes. That's kind of in the way I was getting at was, you know, the Shamrocks versus Warriors.
Exactly.
It's like both Catholic schools. But if you think about it, it is kind of interesting. You're like, you know what? When you look at it from a high level, you're like, oh, it's both Catholic schools.
Right.
So it's like,
we're both Catholic league.
Even though you're complete rivals with them, you're like, you still feel a certain type of way when you meet someone who's a Brother Ice grad, because you'll be like, you know what? We probably went through some similar things.
Oh, totally.
It's going to be different than someone who went to public school.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And then you might find those other similarities where it's like, well, I played on the tennis team here and you played on the tennis team at your public school.
Yep.
It's funny, like, gosh, what you were just saying was so bang on too, but I lost my train of thought. It really is like, you go to uni, you get out of uni, you go and meet somebody. Oh, you're from Michigan? Like, oh, that's cool. Where'd you go to high school? Oh, bro, Rice, I was CC, Catholic League.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, you know that there's a shared thing there. And
there's so many of the schools that, I mean, just, it's, you can almost tell. I've been able to tell so many times when I meet, and more specifically on like from the men's aspect is like, when I meet a man, a lot of times I can tell if they went to Catholic school.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
It's like a different.
Well, and we went to all boys Catholic schools. So of course we're like,
it just, you can like, you almost like notice it. You're like, okay, there's just, where'd you go to school? It's like usually what I ask, like, where'd you go to school?
Yeah. And then same. And I get that a lot too. We were recently at Kensington Park. My brother plays a lot of disc golf. And one of the fellas that,
you know, it's funny. I love disc golf.
Yeah. Let's play, bro. We'll play.
Yeah, I love it.
So we go all the time. So
there's the one in Northville, downtown Northville.
You went there. What was it?
Yeah, Cass Benton. Yeah, it's right by my house.
Mikey just got 3 aces in a week the other day.
Oh,
it was crazy.
Have you played Cass Benton?
He's got 4 aces total. There's
one. I think it's hole 11 that's going down slope.
Yeah,
straight down.
Yeah.
And I didn't ace it, but I hit the chains and it went straight through. I was so upset.
Oh,
Yeah, it was like-
that's a decent one too.
It was like my best throw.
I bet,
My best
dude.
throw.
I bet.
I wanted it.
But I bet, dude. I bet. Honestly, I know what hole you're talking about too. That would have been really impressive.
Yeah, it's a great hole to. There's there's a lot of obstacles in the way.
Yeah.
And I think I did the thing where you kind of skid, like, you skid
Yeah.
off the ground.
Yeah.
And then it let it fly. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a magical shot if it goes in.
Just that.
You hear the clank and then you look and you're like, oh, no, it's not in there.
Oh, dude. Well, so one of the dudes at Kensington who like collects your $3 to go on there, whatever. He's like an older fella. He's like retired.
Mhm.
Like he just has that job because he's bored, But
That's the golf starter.
all of his kids,
The golf starter
yeah,
job.
for real. All of his kids went to CC. Some of his grandkids are here now, I'm pretty sure. And if you're listening to this, I can't remember his name, but he's really nice. And he was chatting with us one day, and we just chat with everybody. Like honestly, I swear we could befriend an inanimate object. But
I could see that.
dude, it's so bad. But I've like made friends that I don't speak the language that they speak, and we're like besties. But so we were chatting with this dude one day, and he's like, "Where'd you guys go to high school?" We're like, CC. And he's like, "I knew it. Like, I knew you went to CC, like, blah, 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 blah." He was all excited to tell us about his kids and stuff. It was cool, though. It was one of those conversations you have, like, having gone through a Catholic high school.
It never ceases to amaze me the way, specifically here, too. And it's probably, I forget what it's called when you just, like, you're around it all the time, so you see it more.
Yeah. It's like seeing yourself in the mirror and you don't realize how long your beard's gotten, and then you trim it and you're like,
I see
whoa.
these interlocking C's everywhere. I'm like,
everywhere.
And I'm like, dude, I work here. I'm here enough. And
yeah, I don't need it everywhere.
But also it's just like on
I need a
every
break.
car, you go travel. Like I was traveling over spring break, and it's just 2 connecting flights. On every airport I'm at,
Yep.
there's CC,
yep.
interlocking C's. I'm like,
Yep.
what is going on?
I swear, it's not even just the students, man. The families get so into it. Like
Yeah,
the moms
100%,
and dads and stuff, they love it so much.
There's families that come to me,
Mhm.
and they tell me, they'll be like, our son had such a great 4 years, or even like there's some freshman parents that come like, I wish I went here.
Right.
Like my son comes home and
It's fun.
My son comes home and he's so excited.
Yeah.
He's like, I wish I went here.
Well, and that freshman just went through Drive, is having the best time of his life.
Right.
He just watched his friend drink the nastiest milkshake he's ever seen.
Fridays off.
Dude, I tell people, I tell real adults that at my high school, my senior year, after February, I had 3-day weeks, no school on Fridays or Mondays. And they're all like, where did you go to school? Detroit Catholic Central, baby.
I know it's interesting when second half of the school year starts, and then people are trying to get stuff done, and I bring in people sometimes for esports and whatnot, and try to hold meetings. We're like, yeah, but let's try to avoid Fridays. There's no students.
Yeah, there's no one here yet.
They're like, what?
You're like, well, we go back to school on July 3rd, so.
Yeah, we're gonna be off for 4 weeks for spring break. We'll see. What do the Europeans call it? We're on holiday.
Yeah, we're on holiday right now. Yeah.
We're
on what's it called? Sabbatical.
Yeah, that's what
we're on sabbatical.
They'll post it on all their restaurants. They own like little mom and pop restaurants.
Yeah.
They'll just post it on
That's
on
like the
holiday
best
for the
restaurant
month.
you've ever been to.
Yeah, but that happened to us in Italy before, where you go travel and you get your timing wrong,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, oops, we accidentally went to Italy during
In August.
Yeah, during holiday. They're
Yep.
gone.
Yeah,
There's
all of Europe is gone.
There's no one here right now.
Except
so.
Australians. Those are the only people here.
And you lived in France for a little?
Yeah, for 4 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then did the exchange program.
That's how I ended up there.
Here. Oh, that's
I lived in the town we went to in the exchange.
okay.
I also lived in Lyon and Saint Etienne. But
And how was that experience?
it was fine. It was really cool. France is an amazing place to live. Best quality of life I ever had. Like I've lived
Wow.
here. I've lived in Chicago. I've lived in Australia, in Victoria. I've lived in France. Easily the best quality of life I've ever had.
Wow.
It was amazing.
What makes you say that?
The cost of everything. Everything. The cost of everything.
Cost, food,
I paid
atmosphere.
I paid $175 of rent. Me and my ex each paid
You're not
$175.
finding that here.
Yeah, I had a 2-bedroom apartment in the town square. I was on the 3rd floor. I had a back balcony. I had an amazing kitchen, an amazing bathroom, $175 each. If you want to go to uni over there, including books, costs, everything, $300 a year. $300. I told them that I
How is
spent.
that possible?
I can't get into it on a podcast for Catholic Central.
Okay.
It'll piss off every donor that.
We'll move on.
They take care of their people over there. They take care of
our operations cost is not covered by tuition. We still need our donors.
Yep.
Please.
I'm not trying to get you guys in trouble. I'm not trying to get you in trouble.
That's amazing. Okay, so France, out of all the places, all right.
Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, that was a really good time.
Have you ever been to Albania?
I haven't, no, but I have some Albanian friends.
I highly recommend it.
I have this friend named Dafina. Y'all are probably cousins. And yeah, she's so cool. And she goes to Albania about once a year. I always see her photos. I'm so desperate to go. It looks so beautiful over there.
I haven't been in a long time.
Yeah.
We have a house back there that burned down.
Oh, wow.
So I think some squatters were living in it,
Okay.
knocked over a candle or something.
Yeah.
Whole house burned down. Dad's over there right now fixing it up.
Wow.
But we're hopeful. He's been working on it for like 5 years now.
He's not coming back, bro.
Oh, no, well, he
went out to get milk. He's not coming back.
No,
dude.
no. Sorry.
My dad went out to fix our house in Albania 5 years ago.
Hold on.
What do you mean?
He's been back and forth a lot.
Okay,
So he was home.
You
for
do
a
not
long-
have a house in Albania.
My dad's gone. So he's there right now.
It's like my dog wasn't put to sleep. It just went
he
to go live
the
on a farm.
yeah.
Mom told me he went to get milk. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, Mom said he's fixing the house in Albania. Isn't that what your dad's doing?
He went there a week ago. He's fixing it up. Our plan is to go in late July for a wedding. So
Oh,
I'm
cool.
excited to be back
That'll be
because I have
sick.
not been there since it's burned down. And the past few times I've been there have only been for funerals. So it's
Okay.
been for bad things.
Yeah, that sucks. When that's
Looking
the case.
forward to going for like a
nice.
nice event. But it's still kind of just untouched by
It looks so pretty.
Yeah,
Dude. It
yeah.
looks so pretty. I just see pictures of hills and forests and stuff, and it looks amazing.
the travelers are starting to get word that it's kind of still pristine. So
Yeah.
there's been more and more.
give it some years.
Yeah, give it some years, but still, for the most part, where I'm from, at least, it's pretty secluded, pretty nice.
Yeah, that's sick, dude. That's super cool, man. Albania looks so pretty. I would really love to visit.
Yeah, I would not go during summer though.
Yeah, is it too hot?
Too hot, way
Yeah.
too hot.
I get that, dude. It's down there. It's in the south.
Yes, yeah,
It's in the south.
no, and it confuses me too because I always get like, I guess this is kind of, not really attached to heroism at all, but I was gonna try to make it work
No,
somehow.
we can, dude. Bring that salesman in here. He'll figure it out.
He definitely would. But I was gonna say, I remember last time I was there, we're standing in line for a funeral out in kind of a desert area,
Yeah.
basically, and it's just hot as all.
Yeah.
hell. Everyone's wearing black, and there's a bunch of old people out there. I'm just like, next thing you know, I
Melting.
hear sirens in the background. And I'm like, okay, something happened. Something's on fire.
Yeah.
Ambulance is coming, and then I start looking around, and I realize something. There's no street signs.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like, how do these
Yeah,
people?
how do we do things?
Yes, how do they know how to save anyone?
Third left.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know?
It's like I live next to
the
the
big tree.
yeah. I live next to the what do you call it mountain, and
Yeah,
I'm over here.
damn.
Come over.
That's wild, dude.
I guess yeah, has nothing to do with heroism. but-
No, but still, yeah, still. We like ambulance people, man. We tend to not focus on like folks whose job it is
Oh, to actually be heroes.
Yeah, just because it's a little bit like they find themselves in the situations a bit more often, you know?
Yeah,
But like we love them, dude. Firefighters, hell yeah, they're great.
it is crazy to think about that. There's people that are just like, you know what? I'm going to dedicate my life to this
That's crazy, dude.
every day.
What they should do is dedicate their life to what I did, which is just knowing about it and not
And
having
not
to do
actually having to do it.
it. Mhm. Have you ever seen the cartoon Hercules movie, the Disney one?
Yeah.
You know Danny DeVito's character, the little guy that trains him to be a hero?
Yes.
That's what my bio is on Substack. Follow me on Substack. It just says human version of Danny DeVito's character in Hercules because his job is to train heroes.
Train heroes.
Mhm. So
Do you
that's my
guys
little
find
thing.
yourselves talking a lot to police
Danny
forces,
DeVito.
fire departments, etc.? Or no?
Not particularly. We've been reached out to at times. Not like overly so. I personally do most of my speaking with like universities and groups like that.
Mhm.
Schools sometimes, but mostly kind of like higher education.
How big are the groups that you usually speak to?
It depends. So
Massive or
I've
no?
spoke like the training I did in Paris was 3 people. That was it. 2 came from Brazil, 1 came from Italy. But like I'm presenting. Oh, where was this? I think it's next month in Brazil in Teresina. I might be going down to Teresina, Brazil, and Sao Paulo next month to present. And I think one of them is 1,000. So I mean, like it'll range from a couple people to like a couple thousand.
Wow.
You know. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, honestly. But But I still think the most nervous I would be is if I came here to deliver a presentation.
Oh, for
like
real?
if I were like in the gym.
Yes, talking to the student body.
Yeah, I think it would be CC specifically, just because I went here.
Just because you went here.
Yeah, I think it would be the one that I was nervy about.
Public speaking is weird.
It is weird. It's
'Cause
so weird.
Transparently, when I came here,
Mhm.
you know, Mr. Babbitts kind of called me and was like, all right, yep, you're going to be a new esports coach. So
Yep.
now we got to introduce you to students.
Yeah.
I did not like that. The
Right.
first time I was introduced was like 100 kids
Oh yeah, dude.
that were like, I want to join esports. And I was like, well, this
You were
doesn't.
like, look to your left, look to your right. One of you doesn't belong on the esports team.
I was like, this program doesn't exist.
Right? I'm still making this.
We're still making this up as we go. I was so nervous. I had to walk out of the room for a couple minutes.
Oh, I
Like,
bet, dude. I bet.
So
it still happens to me sometimes too. I think you're nuts if you don't get nervous, honestly.
But I told the kids now, I was like, guys, one of those things where I can attest to it. You just have to do it more.
Yeah.
The more you do it,
Yeah,
the more you get in
used
front
to
of
it.
people and you just like feel like, all right, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm kind of out here.
So-
and I'm in the open. Because that's what it is. For me, it's all about like a vulnerability thing. I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
for sure.
Everyone's looking at me right now.
You are the most vulnerable
yes.
in the whole room.
Yeah.
Everybody's eyes are on you. Like you are the focus. So like for me, that was a little bit easier because I was a massive class clown, dude. Like honestly,
You
I
like
just,
the attention.
it wasn't even that. It was just how I paid attention. Like in
Mm.
order for me to pay attention, I had to make jokes. Like if I could make a joke about what you're talking about, then I'll keep myself locked in.
I'll
But
focus
otherwise, I'm
on
going to be texting Sean from across the room, you know? So like, so there were some teachers that kind of got that and they were like really, really cool. And then there were some that were like, this is so not my vibe, dude. Please stop.
this guy's really disrupting my
Yeah,
class.
but they saw it as disruption. But like I was the one that was making the jokes that everybody remembered on the test so they could get the answer right. Okay, I'm just helping you teach these kids, man. You know. But,
let me help you.
so like I never really like was nervy about like saying something dumb. Like I think that's one of people's things, right? It's the same
Yeah.
thing with learning a language. Is like people don't want to sound dumb. They don't want to make that mistake. But like when you're used to saying dumb things all the time. That's
Doesn't-
not
it
really
doesn't affect
yeah,
you
it's
as
not
much,
a
right?
fear. Yeah, everyone already thinks
Yeah.
you're dumb. You might as well just say
Yeah.
more dumb stuff.
That's not a risk. Everyone thinks I'm stupid.
Anyways, exactly. Yeah. And because of that, I've gotten to go and speak in some fancy places. Yeah. It's definitely like public speaking is a weird one, right? I think it's Seinfeld has a joke where he's like, public speaking is the biggest fear. And like when you ask people, public speaking is number one and death is number two. So like more people would rather be in the casket at a funeral than giving the eulogy. I think that's a Seinfeld joke, but it's true. Like it is actually true. People get so afraid of it.
Yeah,
And-
eulogies specifically too.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
it just
eulogies
like,
are
oh,
tough. Yeah.
man, it's just like,
all
all right, so now I'm going to be
the
crying.
last thing. Yeah.
Now I'm going to be crying too. And it's like, all right.
Terrible. And yeah, but you know, there's a lot of tips and stuff that I think weirdly, a couple of them overlap with making yourself more prepared for heroic action. So like recently I've started doing some public speaking coaching for, you know, folks that feel that they need to improve that skill. I guess maybe in the future I might work with some students or something who are just trying to get ahead of the curve before they go to uni or while they're in uni, whatever. But one of the things that we would talk about a lot is like the idea of intentionally making yourself uncomfortable, right? So getting up in
Seeking
front.
discomfort.
Yes.
It's my
So
favorite channel
it's-
on YouTube.
It's so, I didn't even know that was a thing, but I bet they're onto some good stuff.
Stop.
Yeah, I swear, I didn't even know.
Okay.
I'll follow them.
I was going
will.
to say, as soon as you're done with this, it's seek discomfort YouTube.
I'm stealing their material and I don't even know it.
Probably. Their whole entire gist is just like,
Mhm.
get out of
Yeah,
the
your comfort zone.
get out of your comfort zone. So they do like wild YouTube videos.
That
where
makes
they
sense.
just- Yep.
That makes sense.
I've been following for a long time. I love them.
We so on the heroism side of things, I talk about getting out of your comfort zone a lot. Dr. Zimbardo used to recommend that kids like draw like a little dot on their forehead in like a green marker or something.
Mhm.
Just walk around all day, knowing that people are going to be staring at that.
Yeah,
you know,
attract attention, right?
Right. Like
Yeah.
get the eyes on you. Get used to sort of being that person. Another, and it makes you
And
like
then you notice that nothing happens.
Right,
Like you get some looks, right?
And one of my friend Matt, who founded Hero Round Table, when he speaks in bright orange pants because it makes him uncomfortable. Like he's a black clothes kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't think anything of his orange pants. But for him, it's a big
Yes.
thing, you know, stepping on stage in that level of discomfort. You know,
we
it's-
always think that people are looking at us more than
they are.
we are.
Yeah,
You know?
it's
Do
just
I
'cause
look good? Do I look good?
We're
Yeah,
so
someone's looking at you.
self-aware,
Yeah.
you know, and that's tough, especially for high school kids, man. High school kids, you become self-aware and you're just like, whoa, this sucks. But Yeah. So, finding ways to make yourself uncomfortable. And what's really interesting about that too, we're going to go back to soccer, is, what was his name? I love this manager. He was the manager of Brighton, and then he went to Chelsea and flopped there. Graham Potter. So Graham Potter is one of my favorite soccer managers.
He did great at Brighton.
Yeah, he did. He was incredible. And he had a very untraditional coaching path. He started out in the women's game, I believe, and then went to Scandinavia and was coaching Scandinavian teams and like beating Arsenal with them, right? And everyone was like, what is going on
Who is this guy?
here? What is happening at Östersund? I think it was Östersund FC. And although it's Scandinavia, so it might be like SK or something instead of FC. But anyways, his whole thing was stepping out of your comfort zone. So when he was in Östersund, he made his entire club, like all the squad, perform a musical to the local community. None of them were theater kids. All of them hated it. But he would do things like this every year, constantly making them step out of their comfort zone. So then when a team no one's ever heard of called Östersund is playing at the Emirates against Arsenal and they beat them, everyone's like, how did that happen? But I'm sure that squad did not feel the same pressure that they would have because they've spent years being pushed really heavily out of their comfort zone.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that I say a lot to people that want advice or want some coaching on public speaking is try and find little things that are going to make you uncomfortable. Like you don't have to like do something huge. You don't have to perform in a musical, right? That's kind of crazy. But like you can wear something that makes you uncomfortable. You can, like put a dot on your head. Like Phil said, there's loads of things. I can't tell people what makes them uncomfortable because only they know that. But like that's one of the things that you can do. If you want to nail your speech, your senior year, if you have to give one, spend your junior year being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Being
Being self-aware is really that's the kind of...
Eventually you have to accept the fact that no one cares. Like no one's paying this much attention
Then
to
you
me.
think about it, you're like, oh, I'm that soccer player that's trying to beat Arsenal.
Exactly.
That shouldn't be and
yeah,
then
but
you're like,
can.
Exactly.
Right.
So
But
it's like,
can.
I've seen that in coaching too, where you're just like, don't think about it.
No, just go get after it,
Just
dude.
go do what you're used to doing, a habit, and don't think about what the other factors are involved with it all. Because as soon as you start, that's really the moment you lose.
Yeah.
Is when you're like, oh, I'm playing in this match against this team.
Yep.
This player.
Everything becomes real clear to you, and all of a sudden you're living under that pressure.
Then the negative self-talk. Am I good enough? Am I,
should I be here? Yeah.
So,
surely there's someone else that's more the imposter syndrome, man, is a real thing.
Yeah, when you want to win at stuff, you have to you just go into a different zone.
Yeah,
where
you gotta
just
get into like flow state.
Yes. Soccer goalie, I know when that is because it's like, that's the one position where you're like kind of out there alone.
Yeah.
So I guess that's
a
always been
lonely
my thing.
position, dude.
Yes, and it's you can never really do anything great, but you can do a lot wrong.
Right.
It can always be your fault.
Oh yeah,
kind of
and
thing.
if you make a mistake, there's a goal.
Yes, yeah.
If a striker makes a mistake,
there's no consequence. Yeah.
There might be.
They get another chance.
But there's still 10 more guys behind them.
It's hard to make up for goalie mistakes, but it's definitely one of those things where, for whatever reason, you get like it's a 90-minute game for like 70 minutes. You have to think about what
you have to be focused.
Yeah, you gotta be focused in the game, and then it's so different though because when you're making a save or you're doing a reaction or something, in none of those moments your brain is so
it's off. Yeah,
you're on autopilot. But then for the rest of the game, that's when you have to think, and I think that's the part when goalies either win or lose matches because that's the part where they make like decisions.
It's what you can see between like the top level of goalie and the pros and like the great goal. They're like the good goalies who aren't quite great, like Liverpool had Simon Mignolet for ages, right? He's a good goalie, but like we got Alisson Becker, he's a great goalie, and you can see that his brain does that. You can
they say the best ones and this was one of my coaches who I thought it was great, but it was like at the end of the day, you're a player on the field, you get to see the whole field. It's like the best goalies are the ones who never have to make a save, because they were communicating
right
beforehand to prevent anything from coming your way, kind of way. And when he told me that, I was like, wow, okay, so goalie's less about me making saves and more about
me talking,
more about me being a communicator and managing what's going on.
It's so true. Yeah, it's so true. It's so true because everything's in front of you as well. Like you've got the view. It's so true. And like even that, it's coming down to training. When we talk about people who are prepared for heroic action, right? People who act heroically when the moments arise. We don't say, this is someone who rose to the occasion, because it is almost never the case. What we say is this is somebody who fell to the level of their training. So like on my board of directors, I can tell you right now that our president definitely went for a very long swim this morning. He swims almost every day because it's something that he knows he may need to use someday, you know? And so the idea of training, right? Like it's really easy for us to think about training in the sense of sports teams and things like that, especially at a high school age, because that is a big part of what the world is to us, you know? The world to somebody in high school is like home, neighborhood, school, sports team, whatever, you know, like those little few things that make up your week. But
very micro.
Yeah, totally. And it's as you start to get older and you get more responsibilities and things like that, that your world starts to expand a bit more. I'm not saying that that's the case for all students, obviously, because some students have very large worlds, but you know, whatever. And so like the idea of training isn't just something that goes into like your football team, your basketball team, hockey here at CC, you know, it's not just that. Like there are little activities and decisions that we can make every day that are training us for situations that may arise, right? And it's really, really easy to just live life passively. Right?
Oh, for sure.
To just put life on autopilot and go through the steps that you have to do every day. And then eventually you die and you're done and whatever. But, you know, there are people that are above, that go above and beyond. There are people that we look at and we might look at them in the context of their sport or their job or career or whatever. And we might think this is an elite performer. This is somebody that just boom, boom, boom. But these are people that are thinking about this, right? Like Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't score 1 trillion goals if he's not actively, proactively thinking and training about all kinds of things. That's a good sporting example, obviously. But like, if you think about somebody who's like been a very successful entrepreneur or a very successful lawyer or something like that, doctor, right? Like these are all people that have had to go through very high level training, but they didn't just rest on those laurels. They didn't just go to med school and do their continued education. These are people that have had questions on their own account and thought to themselves, well, I'm going to go and figure this out. You know?
It's dedication to a certain craft.
Right.
Where you're just like, I'm in love with this thing. I'm passionate about it.
Totally. And so if you think about that as like, just like living your life, right? Like if you're somebody that like, I'm not a strong swimmer. I'm not going to go swimming. I'm not a big swimming guy. I hope to God I don't ever see somebody drowning. And if there is somebody that's drowning, like I'll give it a go, but hopefully there's someone there that's more prepared, you know? But for Ari, that is something that he's selected and gone, you know what? I'm going to focus on this and I'm going to make sure that I want to
be prepared.
You know, we tell people to take CPR classes, to be first aid certified, things like that. It's really, you might do it through school, you might do it through your job. Re-up it.
That was my first thing.
Keep renewing it
when I started coaching.
So important.
I just went, you know what? If you know, if someone collapses, the best thing to know is CPR, and it's legitimately like the only life-saving tool in a lot of scenarios.
Right. And
so it's like you literally can keep someone alive until first responders can get there.
And people might...
And anyone can learn it.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've literally had people email us who went to our events, the Hero Roundtable, who kept people alive by performing CPR until EMS got there.
I completely believe it. Yeah, when I took my class to get certified, I remember the lady who started teaching it. The only reason she started teaching it was because her neighbor came out once with her child who was choking on something.
Yeah. And
the child ended up passing away.
And what do you do?
Because no one knew.
No one knows.
Yes, no one knew the proper way to hit on the back and over the knee. And it's just like, whoa. And she's like, I'm dedicating my life to teaching people so this never happens again.
Right.
It was completely avoidable.
It's horrible when it takes a tragedy for something like that to happen. But, you know, again, like it is easy to find these resources and to learn these things. At the absolute least, we all have Google in our pocket nowadays.
Yeah.
It's not 2008 and we're not sitting here with a Sprint Rumor phone that you slide up for the full keyboard so you can text Sean Sova across the class. We've all got Google in our pockets, you know? So like worst case scenario, point somebody out, tell them to Google it while you start doing things.
Yeah. Or YouTube videos. You can actually see just about anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Multiple camera angles.
I've changed, you know how many times we've fixed a truck with a YouTube video?
Dude, it's with AI now too.
Yeah, I'm ChatGPT. Save this man's life.
There's less of a.
No, I totally know what you mean though. Yeah. I was joking, but yeah,
it's unbelievable. I just think it's amazing.
It's wild.
The prevalence of information, but this brings me to a point, which is, I guess, not about the podcast a little bit, but more about the kids here. Is like it's funny listening to like the older generation talk about current students a little bit.
Oh, I bet.
Sometimes I'm like, if you only knew how much information they have at 14 years
That
old
we did not.
that I didn't even have.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, they have access to whatever they want to know right away at their fingertips.
I was
like,
so dumb, dude.
me too.
I was so dumb. It was amazing.
And a lot of these
I
kids
thought I
are
knew
so
some things.
dude. A lot of these kids are so smart.
Clever little dudes. And
Yes, they're unbelievable.
I believe it, man. It's really, it's wild. Generations, man. You don't realize it until you're not in the dominant one anymore. You know, like you're no longer in the cool generation. I'm just a lame millennial now.
I think millennials still the cool generation.
We are sick. Yeah,
I'm not.
We'll have like
I'm
a
Gen Z.
rustic themed wedding. We'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would say that like finding small sort of practices that you can do is a big way to sort of help yourself be prepared for action. A lot of people will take action even if they're not prepared, right? Like that is just weighing the risk and making that decision.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I wish I would have written it down. But there was a really good example of years ago, one of the star players of the Chiefs ages ago, maybe after his second season or something, he died trying to save some kids from drowning and he couldn't swim himself. I think he saved one of them and died going back for the other one. But yeah, you know, like that's sort of what we're nervous about, right? Like you don't want to see that happen, but unfortunately it does happen a lot. And for the ones who do survive their heroic action, they've never ever consider themselves a hero. That's one of the things that we've noticed is whenever someone acts heroically, they're very, very fast to pass that title on and say, no, I just did what anyone would have done. I just happened to be the one that did it. And then we have to sit there and be like, okay, well, I know that that's what you're saying, that anyone would have did this, but there were loads of people there and no one else did.
Moved. Yeah.
So like,
yeah, that's probably the biggest difference is that, because again, those people probably just they're probably not thinking about
they don't
what
think
I'm going to do in this moment or the impact of it. It's, I see there's a need.
Yeah.
And I'm going to help resolve it.
Right. And that's all that it was. It wasn't anything bigger than that. That's the way they always see it. And then you have to be like, you stopped a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of big, you know?
Well, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
That's why those see something, say something campaign, I think is something that's cool that goes around the stadiums and around train stations now.
It's big, dude. It's really
like
easy to stand by.
You could absolutely change the course of, history of events. If you see something weird.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Say something.
Say something real quick.
You can say something. It's okay. I'm not gonna get mad.
Yeah. And if you're wrong, okay, cool. It's not a problem.
Yeah. It's been really fun. Through the Hero Roundtable, the conference series that I helped run. Actually, we had Justin Sasante, Catholic Central Zone, speak. God, when was this? Maybe 2017. Pre
football coach.
It was a few years ago now. Pre-head football coach. Yeah,
okay.
He was a football coach.
He was still here on the staff. Okay.
Yeah. And he had been brought to us through Legacy in Brighton in Livingston County.
Yep.
Who they're really supportive of the work that I do. They're really good folks out there. And my buddy who runs the event was like, "Oh yeah, we got this guy, this football coach from your high school speaking." I was like, "Who? Like what?" Yeah, his name's Sasante, and I was like, "Oh no way!" Like I didn't really know him personally. I knew who he was, and because he was always around. And
he's got some cool stories.
I was telling Sean this before we started recording, but I'm like the last person that they see before they go on stage. Like I mic them up. I normally give them their like hug before they go out, and I give them their pep talk. Yeah, I give them their pep talk, and so Sasante comes up to me. We're like right backstage. And he's like really, really close to me as he's like talking to me. And I'm like, "You ready, man?" And he goes, hit me as hard as you can. And I went, "What? Are you serious?" And then he just started laughing and walked away. And I was like, dang, I should have rocked him. Yeah, I should have rocked him there, dude. And I never got the chance to, but I always think about that.
Oh, cool. Dude, that's amazing. I definitely thought you were going to say so. I wound up and I gave him a good punch.
I wish. It caught me so off guard. I wasn't even surprised, but no one had ever said that to me before. So I was like, really? And then he just laughed and walked away. And it was like, damn, you had that one moment.
If you gave me 4 options, multiple choice, with that being one of them, I would have chose that one.
Yeah. Dude, I should have knocked him out, really. That'll teach him speak at my event.
That is amazing, though.
It was so funny.
That's hilarious. What did he speak about?
God, I don't remember. I think coaching. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I think it was 2017. It's almost been a decade. But yeah.
Well, I'm sure he's had some
strong energy and
crazy
really
stories too.
He's so, like, a lot of my volunteers for my event from Livingston County, they all knew him. I think maybe through Legacy.
Yeah.
And so, like, they were all already big fans. And then I didn't know that they knew him. They didn't know I knew him, kind of situation. But yeah, like, really just a perfect fit. Like, the things we hear the most about our events are that, like, the experience is really significant and that the energy is sort of unmatched. And I know a lot of people say that about their events, but, like, we're really lucky to be a part of an event program and conference series that I've actually, like, really never felt something quite like it before. None of our speakers actually pay us or we don't pay any of our speakers to speak. They volunteer their time. Some of them, would normally cost $10,000 plus for a day, and they just come out because they like what we're doing. We try to rotate our speakers a lot, which is like the best part. But yeah, we've had some amazing folks, even besides the likes of, like, Sasante, where we had a woman called Catherine Bolkovac a few years ago. She had been nominated for Nobel Peace Prize because she exposed human trafficking that the United Nations was doing in Eastern Europe. Yeah, that was crazy. She was cool. She told us if we ever come through her state to stop by so she could make us cookies. She was very sweet. Obviously, Phil Zimbardo. Dr. Edith Eger has spoken before. I'm, like, obsessed with her. She's one of my favorite people ever. Dr. Eger is a Holocaust survivor. She was in Auschwitz. She was taken on her 16th birthday, and she was a ballerina before she was taken. And Joseph Mengele used to bring her into his office, like, every evening to dance ballet for him. And then at the end of it, he would give her a stale piece of bread, and she would take it back to, like, her barracks or whatever, like the bunks, and she would break it up and split it with the other women. And then when they did the death march before liberation, she weighed like 70 pounds, and all the women that she shared her bread with carried her so that she wouldn't get killed on the death march.
Wow.
Amazing woman. She has a book called The Choice that's about her time in the camps. And she has a couple books, but she was on Oprah a few years ago talking about that book. She calls me and Michael her bodyguards whenever we hang out. She's so funny. And my favorite thing about Edie, she's from Budapest. I'm not going to say her real age. She is 27. And she is a grandmother. And we picked her up from the airport in San Francisco, and she was all decked out. Fancy clothes, right? Like, I don't really know anything about clothes. I just put on blue stuff because I came to CC. But yeah, so she gets in like the special lift that we had gotten her, like the fancy lift. And me and Mikey were in the back seat. She was in the front, and she turned around and with this really thick Hungarian accent, she went, "Boys, today I'm a Louis girl, but tomorrow I'm a Gucci girl." And we just clapped, honestly. We just applauded for her because I was like, "You're incredible. Holy crap." Yeah, she's so cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she's so cool, I swear. She used to speak a lot. Now she's a bit past the traveling.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a fella who he founded the world's largest parkour training organization. They have offices and facilities all over the world, including Boston, if there's any Shamrocks in Boston that want to learn how to do parkour. The woman who wrote like the entire Magic School Bus, she spoke. She was super cool, Jocelyn Stevenson. I was really afraid that, because I swear a lot, and I was really afraid that I was going to like offend the children's television creator. And she swore more than I did. So that was like a fun little bond that we had there.
Together, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man.
Of course, the children's book.
Yeah, of course.
Show.
Yeah, of course.
That makes total sense.
She was really, really rad. But yeah, we've had some really, really interesting folks speak in the past. The fella who created Wolverine, the comic book character, he spoke. Len Wein, he stole my brother's cane. That's true. Mikey had torn his ACL and MCL like a year before. And at one point, he was in Chicago and he bought a cane from a costume shop just because he was hurting to like help him or whatever. And then flash forward like a few months, And Len Wein, who invented like Wolverine, Storm, Colossus. He was like the editor of The Watchmen. He invented Lucius Fox in the Batman universe.
Oh, that's amazing. One of my favorite characters.
Yeah, so cool. So I was supposed to pick him up from the airport. I'm an X-Men kid.
Okay.
I always have been. Shout out to the X-Men. So since we were having him speak, my buddy who invited him was like, you can go pick him up since you're an X-Men kid. I was like, all right. So I went to go pick him up from DTW. He had called me and he was like, I missed my flight. I'm not going to get in until like 2 a.m. I was like, that's fine, Len, whatever. So I went to pick him up. He called me back and he was like, they took my cane in airport security. And I was like, I'll get you a cane. So I called my brother and I was like, hey, do you still have that cane? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, can I give it to the guy? Like, can I loan it to the guy who invented Wolverine? And he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you know Wolverine? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, the guy who invented him needs a cane. Can I loan him yours? And he was like, I guess. So I went and got the cane, gave it to Len. He never gave it back. He stole it, took it back to California with him. He died. Someone got it in the will, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Oh, you're never getting
never
that thing
getting
back.
the cane
You're
back.
never getting that
never
thing
getting
back.
it back. Yeah. But I did ask him actually, since you said Lucius Fox, one of your favorite characters. I asked him on the drive back from DTW to the hotel in Brighton. I was like, do you have any favorite, like, who's your favorite character you've ever created? Expecting him to just say Wolverine.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
And he was like, you know Lucius Fox? And I was like, Morgan Freeman's character?
Yes.
He's like, yeah. He's like, I love that character. He was like, I only invented him when I was writing Batman, which is the craziest way anyone's ever started a sentence to me. He's like, when I was writing Batman, I figured Bruce Wayne didn't have enough time to fight all that crime and run Wayne Enterprises.
Yes. Yeah.
He's like, so I just invented a guy who ran it for him, and I wasn't going to get creators' rights because it was just a guy in a suit, and my boss made me get creators' rights, and when they made that movie, it bought him and his wife a house on the one in California.
Right.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a
I bet.
influential character.
I bet he's your favorite character.
That's why I like that character, because Morgan Freeman just
Crushed it, dude.
Just did a killer job.
Crushed it, dude.
It's
So
unbelievable.
good. But yeah, that was a really wild one, though. That was one where I was like hanging out with this dude going, what the hell am I even doing here? You know, like, how am I with this guy
Well,
right
yeah,
now?
the stories I've heard in the past hour or whatnot,
It's nuts, dude.
you've been all over.
It's not lost on me. It's crazy. Honestly.
You've been all over.
It's really
It's
crazy.
like nuts.
It's really crazy.
Well traveled for however old you are.
Yeah, I'm 33. Yeah, it's nuts, dude. It really is nuts. I think I've almost been to like 35 countries or something. But the problem is I have to go back to places a lot, right?
Yeah.
So like I lived in France. Like my family's in England. Like a lot of my friends are in Australia. So it's like if I were less friendly, I'd probably have been to more places. You know, like if I were a jerk, I'd probably have been to more countries. But unfortunately, there's people I like, so I have to go see them. Bastards, bro. These Aussies.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's weird, but yeah.
So, any next steps for the organization? Anything coming up on the horizon?
Yeah. So, I've just about 3 days ago, sometime within the last week, I got asked if I could make it down to Teresina, Brazil, and potentially Sao Paulo to deliver some presentations down there. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it. I'm really hoping I can, but it is a bit last minute. And then in September, I'm presenting at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln on the difference between terrorists and freedom fighters. Hint, freedom fighters don't attack random civilians indiscriminately. And then October, I'm in Lisbon. I'm speaking at a university there. That'll be, I think, 1,000, maybe a couple thousand students. And then we're working with Uruguay and Peru right now, some groups down there, trying to get some stuff kicking off down there. That might be about Christmas time. So that's what I'm doing in terms of Heroic Imagination Project. I've been lightly working on a potential Hero Roundtable for the Netherlands, and we're about to start for Peru, I think. Maybe that's Uruguay. One of those countries was interested in us doing a conference down there. And then I'm working, I've started doing public speaking coaching. So if anyone listening wants to learn how to public speak really well, holler at your boy. And then I also have a different project where I'm working with a fella called Dr. Dave Rendell. He speaks about strengths and weaknesses being two sides of the same coin. So a good example is impulsiveness and spontaneity. So if we imagine that on his way home today, our lovely producer Sean stopped and bought his wife a bouquet of flowers with no reason, no explanation, out of the blue. we would say that is very spontaneous. That's a very good quality for him to have. How thoughtful. But if tomorrow on his way home, he brought back like a speedboat without talking to her, we would say it's impulsive and that it's a bad quality to have, but it would be the same part of his brain that makes both of those things happen. You know what I mean? And so Dave calls this idea the freak factor. You can find loads of TED Talks that he's done and things like that online about it. And it's a really, really interesting concept. He has used this concept to build. Dave has a background in psychology and business management and leadership. So he took that concept and used it to build with a team of developers an assessment that people can take and then get their results, which will show them kind of like Myers-Briggs, but about strengths and weaknesses, not personalities. And it'll show them sort of like the 5 sort of characteristics that they have, right? And then they'll get a report on each of those 5. It'll say, these are the strengths that come with this part of you. And then these are the weaknesses you've probably noticed. Here's how you can turn up the volume, amplify the volume on those strengths. Let's not worry about fixing the weaknesses, right? Because the idea is where there are peaks, there are valleys. And if you get rid of the valleys, you're also getting rid of the peaks.
Yes.
So if someone has a lot of strength on their spontaneity and we're also trying to diminish their impulsiveness, we're going to diminish the spontaneity as well, right? Like it is 2 sides of the same coin. They're attached. They are not mutually exclusive.
Right. Yeah, you see that all the time with high achieving people or high. You're like
strong people have strong weaknesses.
Yes. He's like, oh, he's really good at that, but don't ask him to do this. To do this because he's not good at it.
And those are people that have found a strength and thrown their energy into it. Yeah. Right. So like this might not be super popular with some of the teachers, but if you're somebody who is chatty and you talk a lot, I would suggest talking more. I would say maybe, not
get better
in a disruptive way, but find opportunities to speak, right? Yeah. If that's you answering a question, sure. Maybe do it the right way, raise your hand, don't be rude. But if you can find, a local Rotary group or something like that, and you can go and deliver a little presentation there, do it. Yeah. Go and sign up for a Toastmasters. Go and do these things. Because
he likes to talk a lot doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing.
It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Yeah. When my buddy Dave, who built the Amplifi system, when he was a kid, he was constantly in trouble for 3 things. He couldn't sit still, he couldn't be quiet, and he couldn't do what he's told. Yeah. Well, now Dave gets paid to stand up and speak, and he's his own boss. Yeah. So he doesn't have to sit down. He doesn't have to be quiet. He doesn't have to do what he's told.
Those are the 3 qualities that made him
great
or great.
3 strengths that led him to where he is now. So yeah, that's another thing that that's sort of in the beginning of being worked on, but we've just wrapped up the assessment itself. So hopefully we'll be starting to progress on that a little bit here in the future. So my main projects right now are the conference series, the Hero Roundtable. Check us out on YouTube or on our website, HeroRoundtable.com. Our nonprofit, the Heroic Imagination Project, which is heroicimagination.org. And then Amplifi, which is still a little bit early, but if you're interested in hearing anything more about Amplifi or bringing us in to make your leaders, your staff, your employees, whatever, stronger, then find a way to contact me.
You did a perfect job of closing it out because I was going to ask you, where can people find you at or learn more?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So that's that. Those are my websites. You can read little bios about me that are normally more modest than they probably should be because I feel uncomfortable doing that. But if you want to email me, sartor.thomas@gmail.com. I'm not really a huge social media guy, but like my Instagram is Tej Sartor, TEEJSARTOR. And I'm on LinkedIn. I'm Thomas Sartor on LinkedIn. And I'm like one of 7 people that work in Heroism. So like you'll know it's me. So yeah, I don't know. That's probably where you can reach me best. Email Sean Sova and
we'll pass it. We'll pass it along.
He's like my secretary. So
he'll take a little cut.
Yeah. I'll screen everybody first. You only get the cream of the crop.
You're like, this sounds promising. Delete.
Well, beautiful, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
That was a great conversation.
I hope I did okay. I know I kind of dominated that convo for a while.
That's what we wanted.
Okay, cool.
I mean, you're the cool person to talk about.
Thanks, man. I really am just like super normal, and I've just found myself in these opportunities. So like, I'm really lucky to sort of do the things that I do and to be able to work with the people that I work with. And I'm always happy to talk about heroism or about strengths and weaknesses, sort of whenever, or soccer. Yeah. Again, whenever.
Of course. Yeah. Any final message to Shamrock Nation, to the kids?
Yeah. So I would say the opposite of a hero is not a villain; it's a bystander. That's like a really powerful sort of thing we believe in our world. If you look around at the world, like, yeah, maybe there's people doing stuff that could be seen as villainous, but when it comes to heroic action, it's not that people are actively being villains that are the opposite of heroes. It's the people who don't do anything. So the opposite of a hero isn't a villain, it's a bystander. And I didn't make that up. Matt Langdon did, and I don't want him to get mad at me for taking credit. Oh, also check out our Substack, heroicimaginationproject.com Substack. We've been trending in the top like 30 for a while now for education. And amazing posts, amazing vlogs coming out, really cool stuff. I've been working on some posts that will hopefully get pushed onto that here soon, but I'm not the strongest writer, so I'm just working my way through it. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's everything.
Beautiful, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right. See you guys.